This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 3 figures that came with the Cobra Rattler. This time we're going to take a look at number 184, the Wild Weasel. Alright, so now we have our Wild Weasel figure for the Cobra Rattler Haslab. On the front, obviously we just see the standard Cobra Air logo there, with Wild Weasel, a couple different helmets. He's got that scarred face, and one of those helmets is supposed to be battle damaged, so that's kind of cool. On this side, we of course see, well, the battle damaged helmet on his face, and he is the center part of our mural of box sides. And on this side, we again get the nice color version of what is the pretty generic G.I. Joe side. All the Cobra add-ons are in color. His face is in color. Instead of the QR code, they give us a Cobra Rattler. And I think the QR code is extremely pointless because it just brings you to like a shopping page and not actually like any kind of informational page. And on the back, we have the part of the long mural of the Rattler, which I think is the same one as on the box. The main box, that is. So let's go ahead and just go open this sucker up, shall we? Okay, so I'm not really sure what half these things are at the moment. I guess we'll have to figure it out. So first up, we do have his battle damaged helmet over here. Oops. Let's see where the glass is broken off and everything. Then this would be the scarred portion of it for the bottom part. We'll put that on his head at some point. We have his air hose connector thing. Looks like, I'm not entirely sure where this is supposed to actually attach. Is it his belt, maybe? We do have a fairly standard looking pistol, which we'll put in his holster. Wait a minute. Okay, I think I just figured something out, and I think it seems kind of dumb. Then we got his unbattle damaged helmet. And his unbattle damaged respirator mask. Okay, so as you can see here, we have these little open spots on his knees. That would be for these things. And not sure why the F we have this for it. But, okay. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it now. Okay, never mind. So that is basically so that when he's sitting down in the pilot seat, this stuff is strapped to his thighs so he can look down at some of the informational stuff while he's flying. All right. That makes a little more sense now. Okay. Still kind of silly looking, but it makes sense. Also, they are at different heights on his legs, and that kind of bothers me a little bit, to be honest. So then here it is, just the plain versions. Okay. So you might want to put these ones on when you put them into flight. These ones for if he's standing out in your display. Okay. Gotcha. All right. And then here we got a hole in there, a peg hole, and a peg. So this is where his little respirator hooks up to him. All right. So we've got all of his extra parts figured out. Hooray, we are smart. Let's take a look at his head here. He does have some scarring from the battle damage. Not quite as much as I was expecting him to have. Like, I thought there'd be more damage. Because he's still got that whole pretty boy look going for him, doesn't he? And I think Wild Weasel is one of those characters that we never saw unmasked in the G.I. Joe cartoon. So it is kind of surprising that they gave us an unmasked version in the classified line. What's funny to note, though, is, again, we've gotten, I think, more unmasked Cobra figures than we've gotten unmasked Joe figures. Just saying. But let's go ahead and take a look at the helmets that he came with. So there we can kind of see how his helmet sits on his head. But these tabs here on the sides of the respirator are such a pain in the ass to get on the helmets. But it does a pretty good job of filling in the area. Like, he's fully masked up. I think we will attach this first to the side and attach that up to the hose. Or up to the respirator. Attach the hose to the respirator, I mean. And the respirator is coming loose again already. Alright, so there we got with his battle damaged helmet, where you can see his eye and the scarring. Which, since it doesn't look recent, this kind of doesn't make much sense as a helmet extra, to be perfectly fair. But it is kind of a cool accessory to have, right? Now, if they gave us a head where it actually looks like it's bleeding and seeping and stuff, that would have been really awesome with this helmet. That would be a display piece on its own. All right. So let's go ahead and go with our more traditional Wild Weasel look. The thing is, though, of course, when you have the air hoses in place like that, you have limited articulation in the head. But he looks pretty cool. But before we do articulation, we will go ahead and take him apart. We'll take his helmet off. Because as I've already stated, with the helmets on and the air hose in place, well, the helmet could be on and still get articulation. It's just with the respirator and helmet, you're not going to have that ability. Granted, the original G.I. Joe figure from the vintage line didn't have the respirator or the hose for the respirator, just, you know, the whole full helmet. But his head is on a ball joint, so we get the look up, down, can spin around. Oh, his neck just twisted really funny. Broke his neck. So that's our standard. There's no hinge at the neck like we had on previous Joes, but you can still do giggity giggity giggity. I don't know why I just did that. We do have a rather large looking butterfly joint, but it doesn't have a whole lot of range of motion, to be perfectly honest with you. But it does seem to me like it is bigger than what we normally get. His harness does not look like it's meant to come off like the Baroness's did, so we're not going to get a good look at what's underneath there. But I'm sure it's a fairly generic body. But I haven't seen a butterfly joint this big, so maybe it is a new sculpt altogether. Hinge arm up and down. Spin it all around. Bicep swivel. Double joint at our elbow. Maybe. Double joint there. Spin at the wrist. He's got up and down articulation on that hand. And up and down articulation on this hand. So that may have to do with trying to get him to grab onto the yoke in the Rattler. Ooh, wait. Apparently that part of his harness actually does come off. I did not realize that. It's not on there at all. Still pretty generic. Looks like he's wearing an ascot. And it still doesn't really let us see what's underneath there. Although we can tell that he has an ab crunch built in, but we don't get much motion. We can get some back, but not much front because of the design. I honestly am surprised that that was just not sculpted into the main, this front part, to be honest with you. And there's no like pegs on it to hold it in place. That's, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. We do have the ab spin, the waist spin and rotation. We have the drop down hips, which I'm just realizing now I did not look at with the Baroness. We can spin, obviously, the little doodad pops out of there when you spin it underneath the holster. This side we can spin freely, although that doodad's not in there, so. So we can spin that freely around. You know, are these the same on both sides? They are not the same, so it's been rather coincidentally lucky that I have been managing to put them in the right one all this time. Eye is good. All right, so we got double joint in the knee. We do have a, I don't know, a cross trainer cut. And the hinge here and a spin. So basically we have a spin at the foot and a spin right up there at the top of the, you know, the ankle cut, I guess we can call it, since this doesn't really function as a boot cut, right? But since this is a G.I. Joe character that existed in the 80s, we do in fact have his file card for him. Cobra Rattler pilot, codename Wild Weasel. File name classified. Military specialty ground support pilot. Birthplace classified. Wild Weasel cut his teeth in the bus wars of South America and Africa during the last decade. His knowledge of close support aircraft ranges from jury-rigged civilian conversions to ultra state-of-the-art flying weapons platforms. A mouth injury inflicted during a strafing run is rumored to be the cause of his characteristic sibilance in his speech pattern. I'm trying to think of how often Wild Weasel talked in the cartoon, and I don't know if it's very often. Wild Bill says, "He may be a back-shooting low-down snake in the grass, but the boy can fly like nobody's business. You gotta respect the skunk for that. Hey, what did Voltaire say? To forgive our enemies their virtues, that is the greater miracle." I'm not sure if that was a particularly good Western-style voice, but that's the best I can do. Anyway, I think Wild Weasel looks pretty cool. I'm glad they gave us the unmasked head sculpt. I'm surprised they made him a pretty boy blonde with, looks like blue eyes also. I like the scarring. I think it's a little less than I would have expected from what they were talking about. It doesn't stand out like Scrap Iron's scar does. But, you know, it's still noticeable. I feel like he kind of reminds me of a specific actor on TV, and I can't think of who it is right now. Although if you can think of it, please say something. But overall, I think he's a pretty cool figure. I definitely like him. I'm glad I've got him. Again, this is one of those cases where having two will be nice to display because we can have him on the ground outside the Rattler, like with our regular figures, with the head sculpt there showing. And we can have him in the Rattler, probably with these things on his knee pads and piloting like nobody's business. As a quick size comparison, Wild Weasel does seem to be using the standard male buck. Shorter than Sergeant Slaughter, taller than women, roughly the same size as Duke, except for the helmet on his head. But if you enjoyed this review, please feel free to rattle that like button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense, please subscribe. We got one more figure coming with us, and I hope you join me for it. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.